Alright, so this one is 10 botches that instantly ruined a wrestler's career. The thumbnail had Hayabusa. That one you guys actually did put me on to a while ago. So I'm wondering if we're gonna see any more of like the super common ones in lists like these, like the Droz. We'll see. If you want to support the original upload of this content, click the top link in the description. Go ahead and show them some love. They do wrestling news and stuff. Yeah. Want to hang out with me in the Flock Live on Twitch? Look in the description. Come on, use your fingers. Use your fingers. And I got a Patreon with over 200 hours of bonus wrestling content that I can't put on YouTube, so you will almost never run out of shit. Teehee? Let's do this.
Till a match in 2003 where I was actually kicked in the head and suffered a concussion so severe I never returned to the ring.
For all the jokes about professional wrestling being nothing more than a choreographed meeting between soap operas and Mortal Kombat, the industry is still one of the most dangerous to get involved in. Mistakes can happen at any moment, leaving wrestlers with a serious concussion or a broken bone that can drastically alter their career trajectory. Unfortunately for many, however, that trajectory doesn't just take a sudden downward turn, it puts a full stop on their career as we know it. Join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 botches that ruined a wrestler's career. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Number 10. The debut of the Shockmaster. Topping and tailing the list are two remarkably different botches from the wacky world of WCW. The first of which we saw Fred Ottman deliver what WWE itself described as the greatest debut in pro wrestling history, albeit for all the wrong reasons. Signing with WCW in the summer of 1993, the former WWE Tag Team Champion Typhoon was slated to team with Sting, Davey Boy Smith, and Dustin Rhodes opposite Big Van Vader, Sid Vicious, and Harlem Heat in that September's War Games match, with his televised arrival booked for a preceding episode of Clash of the Champions. The debut was supposed to have seen the repackaged Shockmaster menacingly crash through a wall of the set of a flair for the gold, but everything that could have gone wrong, well, actually did go wrong. The Shockmaster's aura was drained after he tripped on a piece of wood, sending him falling through the wall with all the grace of Titus O'Neil at the Greatest Royal Rumble. His glittery Stormtrooper helmet fell off his head, exposing his real identity immediately, and as he tried to recover his integrity, everybody around him just tried to keep their composure, while all for Davey Boy Smith, who said he just fell on his ass.
I feel like if the helmet didn't fall off, right, if the helmet would have stayed put, there would have at least been like some sort of aura recovery, right? Because you can like a little pit bull crawl or something to get back up to your feet, like kind of play it off, but having to scramble and put the helmet back on, that's crazy. That is a diabolical occupation. That's wicked work. I don't know about that.
Surprisingly, Fred Ottman achieved very little following the major snafu, though he's at least found the humor in what remains the most memorable moment from his career, and regularly attends wrestling conventions with a helmet in tow. Number 9. A botched rocket dropper. You see it far less these days, but it used to be something of a tradition for WWE to hire local talent to be mercilessly squashed by whichever powerhouse they were pushing at the time. It seldom resulted in full-time employment, the exception being James Ellsworth in 2016, but that didn't stop these WWE hopefuls from trying to make a lasting impression, typically with diminishing results, like when Perry Saturn obliterated Mike Bell. A similar awful fate—
What the heck? Whoa, come on, man. Come on, man. I don't like that. I was about to say, is that David Blaine getting accosted by Ryback? That is not David Blaine.
A similar awful fate fell upon Charles Austin in December 1990. With just 6 months of wrestler training under his belt, Austin approached WWF officials during a Superstars taping in Tampa and offered himself as an enhancement talent for the evening. Perhaps most surprisingly is the fact that this method actually worked. He was booked to team with Lanny Poffo in a losing effort to the Rockers. The majority of the match went on as planned, but Austin soon wished he hadn't made the journey to Florida, as a botched rocker dropper from Mania Jannetty left.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that'll do it to you.
Soon wished he hadn't made the journey to Florida, as a botched rocker dropper from Marty Jannetty left him paralyzed with a broken neck. Suing the company 4 years later resulted in Charles being awarded $26.7 million, though that was later changed to a $10 million out-of-court settlement, and these days he requires the use of a motorized wheelchair. The Superstars outing is his only recorded match.
Man.
Number 8, Flop Dolla. Less of a career-ruining botch because it left him injured, and more because it destroyed any resemblance of credibility he had left. Top Dolla's attempt at a dive over the top rope was one of the worst things to come out of the early days at Triple H's WWE. One of the game's first rehires alongside his hit row cohorts Ashanti the Adonis and B-Fab, Top Dolla attempted his best cruiserweight cosplay during the December 16th, 2022 episode of SmackDown, which pitted him and Adonis against Legado del Fantasma and the Viking Raiders. He ran across the ring, tried to leap over the top rope, and got caught crashing onto the apron while everyone below him had to awkwardly fall to the ground as though they've just taken his full weight. But only Michael Cole found hilarity in the situation, frequently referring to him as Flop Dolla, but it rendered Hit Row's mini push dead in the water. They turned heel shortly thereafter, but by the following September, they were axed. And now signed to TNA under his real name of AJ Francis, he hasn't done anything of particular note across his 2.5-year stay, though he has credited the botch with saving his life as he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Number 7, botching on the grandest stage. But unlike Top Dolla, The Undertaker typically enjoyed endless success with his dive over the top rope. But one notable exception saw him suffer a potentially career-ending landing and a definitively career-ending mistake for a former tag team champion. Wrestling Shawn Michaels in an instant classic at WrestleMania 25, one key spot was to see the Heartbreak Kid evade Taker's over-the-top rope dive by pulling the cameraman in the way to take the impact, with Sim Snuka disguised as the unlucky camera operator. For whatever reason though, Snuka's timing was off as he barely made contact with the dead man, who instead landed squarely on the back of his neck at ringside. He was miraculously unscathed and continued the rest of the match as planned, but the same couldn't be said about the second-generation Snuka, as he was let go by June, and you have to assume that this botch on the grandest stage had a big part to play in it. He had wrestled just 6 times since departing WWE, the last of which was in 2014, but luckily for him, The Undertaker holds no ill will towards him for the incident. In fact, speaking to ESPN, he believes the botch spot actually added to the match. I've always been pessimistic with my matches. I would never watch my matches back with anybody else. I'd have to sit by myself so I can pick them apart and say, wow, I should have done that. I should have done this, not that. That night, other than missing the cameraman on the dive over to the top, which added to the story because it was such a nasty bump that I took, but even that ended up turning something bad into something good. Number 6, a rude awakening for Rick's back. And newer fans of his are always shocked to discover that Rick Rude formally retired from the ring in 1994 at just the age of 35. But alas, a serious back injury rendered his in-ring days as a thing of the past. Rude suffered the career-ending ailment during the WCW and New Japan co-promoted Wrestling Dontaku event in May of '94, which saw him pin Sting to become a 3-time WCW International World Heavyweight Champion. But despite his win, he was forced into immediate medical retirement, as upon taking a dive from the Stinger, Rick landed awkwardly on the elevated platform that connected the ramp to the ring.
Shit! Oh my, what? What? Oh, fuck that, bro. Oh my god.
Rick landed awkwardly on the elevated platform that connected the ramp to the ring, and no details have ever been made public on what exactly was wrong with his back, but it was enough for him to never wrestle again, bar a one-off return at ACW Heatwave in '97 for a 6-man tag team match, which he didn't really do much of note. He was otherwise done between the ropes, but he remained relevant by taking up non-wrestling roles, including returns to both WWF and WCW as a member of DX and the NWO respectively. Number 5,
I'm happy he was at least walking around and shit after that, because that looks fucking bad, man. That shit looked terrible. Is this the Droz one with D'Lo?
Powerbomb changes 2 careers. Categorically speaking, saying that D'Lo Brown's career was ruined following his paralyzing powerbomb on Droz might be a bit of a stretch, considering he went on to have a decent run in TNA, briefly returned to WWE, and had a fascinating career in Japan, but he certainly wasn't viewed the same in the aftermath. Indeed, the former European champion battled Droz during the tapings for the October 7th, 1999 edition
I used to love how the games would animate as walk to the ring.
To see Brown execute a running powerbomb. It was a common spot for his matches back in the Attitude Era, and one that had traditionally been executed without fail until this one. D'Lo prematurely dropped Droz, resulting in him landing on his head and fracturing 2 vertebrae in his neck. He was left requiring the use of a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Man.
Despite the severity of the botch, which significantly impacted his day-to-day life, Droz held no animosity towards D'Lo for the incident. If anything, he put the blame on himself for wearing a loose shirt. Conversely, the botch weighed heavily on D'Lo for years, who stated that should he ever be graced with a spot in the WWE Hall of Fame, he would only want to be inducted alongside the late Darren Drozdolf. Number 4, a botched springboard moonsault. Japanese wrestling legend Hayabusa was one of the most influential high flyers of the 90s, helping redefine the style of modern pro wrestling through his athleticism and innovative aerial moves. After developing his craft in Mexico, he became the face of Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, aka FMW, where his spectacular performances and willingness to take risks earned him a devoted following, and he also inspired many future stars with moves such as the Phoenix Splash and Falcon Arrow. However, everything changed on October 22nd, 2001
he was at
during
his
a match against
time
Mammoth
for real.
Sasaki. While attempting a springboard moonsault from the middle rope, Hayabusa lost his footing, failed to complete the rotation, and landed right on his head.
Man,
The
don't show it
accident
again.
fractured 2
Oh
vertebrae in
my
his neck, leaving him
God,
paralyzed
dude.
and bringing his in-ring career to an immediate end. His injury was not only devastating personally, but also dealt a severe blow to FMW, whose fortunes declined without its biggest star. Despite the life-changing injury though, Hayabusa refused to give up, and he spent years in rehabilitation, gradually regaining movement in his legs and eventually astonishing fans by standing and walking short distances with the aid of a cane. His determination and resilience became as inspiring as his wrestling career had been, proving that his fighting spirit extended far beyond the ring.
Awesome.
Although he passed away in 2016 from a brain hemorrhage at the age of 47, his legacy endures. He's remembered not only for revolutionizing high-flying wrestling, but also for his remarkable courage in overcoming immense adversity, inspiring wrestlers and fans around the world with both his performances and his perseverance. Number 3,
he does see his moves all over the place now.
Perhaps the most significant career-ending botch from recent memory occurred during the March 11, 2022 episode of SmackDown, as a botched belly-to-belly suplex from Ridge Holland left Biggie with a broken neck. He thankfully wasn't paralyzed, but has officially retired from in-ring competition. Holland didn't face an immediate downturn in momentum as his planned WrestleMania 38 match against the New Day still went ahead, while the rest of 2022 featured championship matches, a Spot in War Games match, and a scorching Donnybrook match at Extreme Rules against Imperium. But it was clear that WWE were never going to push him up a level because of the accident. By 2023, he'd been moved back to NXT for a largely forgettable run before his contract expired at the end of 2025. Speaking to Mike Rand, the real-life Luke Menzies detailed that he felt as though accidentally breaking Biggie's neck ended his own career, as well as Biggie's. Biggie was a huge star and so loved. There was a massive backlash, and even me being relatively new on the roster as well, even to the higher-ups and the old boys who've been around, they're gonna point the finger at somebody, and yeah, they pointed the finger at me. I think it kind of always hung over me as a black cloud during my career. Never really got past it. I couldn't shake it. It was something that it is what it is. Biggie's career unfortunately ended that day, but I think so did mine in a way. At least my career with WWE. I'll always regret it. Number 2, a neck-breaking muscle buster. The career of a professional wrestler can end at any moment.
Tyson Kidd?
For Tyson Kidd, that moment was during the June 1st, 2015 Superstars taping. Wrestling then NXT champion Samoa Joe in an untelevised outing, Kidd left the arena lying on a stretcher, having suffered a severe spinal cord injury after taking a botched muscle buster. By reports, the official diagnosis was what is known as the hangman fracture, where the neck breaks at the base of the brain. Speaking to Chris Van Vliet several years after the fact, Samoa Joe recalled the harrowing incident, naming it as the biggest regret of his entire career. To this day, that probably remains the largest regret of my career that happened. But that doesn't change things for Tyson. Doesn't change things for a guy who's probably one of the most passionate people in the world of pro wrestling. For a guy who has an amazing mind for it. WWE is fortunate to have him because even though he's not in a physical role with the company, the finishes, his ability to put together matches, and be a producer and agent are unparalleled. Despite suffering an injury that a reported 5% of people survive, it was something of a blessing in disguise for Tyson Kidd, as he subsequently became one of the most celebrated producers in WWE history. And number 1, Bret Hart hates Goldberg. Now it's back to WCW for our final entry, and one that certainly won't be new information to anybody who's listened to a single Bret Hart interview from the past 2 decades. Booked to defend the WCW World Heavyweight Championship against Goldberg in the main event of the '99 Starrcade pay-per-view, the Hitman left Washington that evening with post-concussion syndrome, having suffered a series of blows to the head, the most significant being that thrust kick from Goldberg.
He got no love.
Bret banged his head on the concrete floor while applying his ring post figure 4 leg lock after Goldberg failed to adequately cooperate. Bret's career didn't end immediately as he wrestled a further 9 matches for WCW before officially retiring in 2000 and returned for an underwhelming second WWE stint between 2010 and 2011, but he was never the same following Starrcade 99. Now over 25 years removed from the incident, Bret wastes no opportunity to slander Goldberg's name, despite Goldberg having offered repeated apologies and
he said everyone what was that tweet? Bret Hart said, everyone in the arena is unsafe when he's around. That goes for wrestlers, referees, fans. I mean, even the popcorn guy needs to keep his eyes peeled. He's just the man yelling at the clouds. Stop fucking bringing back Goldberg.
Opportunity to slander Goldberg's name, despite Goldberg having offered repeated apologies, and unless things take a drastic turn for the better, safe to say that neither man will be exchanging Christmas cards. But they
yeah, that was wild. That was wild. It's crazy how, like, it'll be like the littlest shit that you've done 1,000 times in training. And it'll just alter someone's life for fucking ever, bro. Like, how many times did Samoa Joe do that fucking muscle buster? How many fucking lion salts did Hayabusa do? You know? Shit. Yeah, this shit ain't ballet. This ain't no ballet. I'll tell you that much. They got it. I ain't doing none of that. Thank you so much to those of you that have made it over to the Patreon. I appreciate you.
Trouble, that's me. Cherry lips and bad energy.